Hello, I'm Rabbi Kravitz with Jews For Judaism. Welcome back to our weekly Torah lesson as we start the new Jewish year with the portion of Bereshit, which is also known as Genesis, which recounts the creation of the world. And I would like to share just a few thoughts that I think are very meaningful for me. One is that Judaism believes that creation isn't simply an event that took place once and then God departed and left things on their own. We believe that creation is ongoing and constant, and that God is constantly involved in causing the world to exist. In the same way that we see that the way the Torah describes how God created is with the use of speech. We see it says, and God said, let there be light. God said, let there be the earth. So speech, we learn a lesson from it, that as long as you are speaking a word, the word exists. The minute you stop speaking, the word stops. So we learn a lesson from this, that in the same way, God is constantly, so to speak, speaking the world into existence. It's constant and ongoing. And if God were to stop speaking, the world would cease to exist. So this is a reason to thank God for our daily lives and our existence, because God is constantly involved in that. A second lesson I'd like to share is the idea that there is a verse that many missionaries like to quote where they try to claim that God is more than one, because it says in the Torah, let us make man in our image. This appears to be plural. Let us make man in our image. Who's God speaking to? So I think it's pretty obvious to anyone who would read from the beginning of the chapter that whenever God created something during the steps of creation, he involved the physical universe in that process. God said, let there be light. God said, let the oceans spring forth fish. Let the earth spring forth vegetation. He interacted with the world. So when God says, let us make man in our image, it's the only time where God doesn't say and speak directly to the earth. So what does that teach us? It teaches us that when man was created from the earth and the Adamah, which is the word for earth in Hebrew, that's why Adam was given that name, Adamah. His name actually means earth. Man was formed from the earth in the image of a physical being, and then God blew into man the breath of life, the soul. So a human being has both a physical aspect, which is similar to the earth, and a spiritual aspect, which is similar to godliness. So when God said, let us make man in our image, he was once again speaking to the earth, saying that mankind should be physical because he comes from the earth, and he should be spiritual because of the gift of the soul. So I believe that these two lessons that we just shared are a perfect way to start our year. And it should be that we should be full of discovering that spirituality that is inside of us and recognizing that God recreates and causes the world to come into existence at every moment. And if we open our eyes, we can look and we can experience it in something that's called divine providence, where we see that things do not happen by coincidence. So I wish you a beautiful and happy and meaningful Shabbat Shalom.